Okay, so this is day 3 of this watercolor challenge that I'm trying. So this is a landscape painting again. If you're not familiar with other videos that I've done, the way I tend to work recently is the top half of the paper I soak with lots of water. So that's going to be the sky, and I'm doing a sort of wet in wet approach for the sky. So wet in wet just means that the paper itself is wet. When you do that with watercolor, it gives you softer edges. The different colors, the different pigments will mix and move across the paper, and you just get these softer edges. So sort of colors that I'm using, there's a grey, it's neutral tint is the name. There's also sepia, and there's bits of blue, especially cerulean blue. So then the next part is just to establish a horizon. Now this painting, a lot of my paintings don't have a particular subject, they're just feels. But this one does have a sort of famous hill. Well, I say famous, it's famous in my part of the world. So this hill is called Slemish. It comes from the Irish name Slieve Mish. It just means Mish's mountain. And it's connected with St. Patrick. He was supposed to have been enslaved here, and he was as a slave he was working as a shepherd for some local warlord or whatever he was, chieftain. It's not a very big hill, it's quite small, it's about 400 meters, it's about 1500 feet, that sort of thing. But it is a bit of a landmark, not far from where I live. Other things I wanted to talk about today was sort of creative block. So in this challenge, one of the biggest things to get over is the idea of creative block. If you're trying to create a painting every day, you have to come up with new ideas. You have to actually follow through on that and create the actual paintings. And what happens if sort of creative block hits and you can't get things finished? So I was looking up some ideas for creative block, and there seems to be sort of 2 or 3 different approaches people take. So the first one is just do nothing. Take yourself off for a walk or something, just forget about it all. The second approach is then the complete opposite, is just ignore the block and just keep doing something. Just keep drawing or painting or trying to do something creative. And then a third way is sort of to sit down and try and analyze the block and what's causing the block and how can you overcome it. I suppose there's no right or wrong way, it just depends really on your personality. For me, I've found that the best way of dealing with it is just to try and ignore it and just keep doing something, drawing or painting or doing something creative. Like I say, I suppose it depends on your personality, what technique is going to work for you. Okay, so in this video I did have some technical problems, so I've had to edit it quite a bit. That's why it sort of jumps a bit. Part of the problem is I'm using a sort of cheapish webcam which has limitations, and it's connected to a laptop that's quite ancient and is sort of working at the extreme end of its abilities. So things don't always work when I'm trying to record these videos. But it's all part of the challenge as well. Other things I can say about this, so as usual it's a limited palette that I'm using. It's only about 3 or 4 hours. So there's, well, in the sky there was the neutral tint, the sepia and the blue, and then in the land is the blue again, plus cadmium yellow, plus phthalo green. So this is the final painting, the scan of the final painting. So like I say, I'm trying to produce these videos every day for the rest of September. So if you'd like to subscribe, just click on the big red button below, and hopefully see you in the next video.